Hi folks, welcome to my Bit Retro Journal. Today I'm going to be talking about my QL's video signal, specifically the composite signal. You can see right now I have it boot up mode and I can choose between TV and monitor. The TV signal actually is on this monitor really crisp, and I hope that comes across on the camera, but it's really nice. However, when I boot up in a monitor mode, what happens is, since it's a US version of the QL, in TV mode it gives out an NTSC signal and cuts off the bottom part of the screen. In monitor mode it does not, so you get the full screen. You can see it says AV-PAL, so it does recognize this as a PAL signal, and you get to see the menu items on the bottom, system rename view, right there. And but the picture will flicker, and it should not be black and white. It should be also green background, and it's, the type is crisp. The background here should not be a grid pattern. It should be, if it's in black and white, it should just be a solid gray. So there's definitely something not right. And so what I want to do today, so in the past I have these mini converters, and I just picked them up over the years. Let me put this back in reboot. I've picked these up over the years, and these are cool because they will convert. I have both parts. So I have a VGA to AV and an AV to VGA. And of course, this can go in both ways. This can convert AV to VGA or VGA to AV. Why do I want both? This one actually is the one I recently got, and this is why I made the video. I wanted to hook my Commodore Amiga 600s to a monitor, and it only had, so I got, and I don't have a cable for yet for its output, its RGB output. So I wanted to hook this AV to VGA. So I got this one. I've had this one in the past, I think mainly for my, it's off screen, but for my iMac, which is, again, it's right there. And it has a little, I think it's a mini display port to VGA, and so I got the VGA to AV because I wanted to then hook the my monitor onto a TV, because I had a bigger. This is probably back in 2015, 14. I was using a big old CRT TV as my second monitor, and which didn't have any VGA output, whereas this little TV has VGA. It's got everything. It's got VGA, it's got HDMI, it even has component and composite. So that's why I got this one. I think I got this one recently, which is a VGA to HDMI, because my Macintosh, my PowerBook 1880, which can give an external monitor, it has a special cable that gets video out, and then it's actually compatible with VGA, and I have a little converter box that gives me a VGA, and I needed VGA to HDMI because at school we have, like last year I could hook it to the projectors at school. This year we actually updated all the projectors to where we only have USB-C, and so I needed VGA to HDMI because they only make an HDMI to USB-C converter, which is powered, and so is this powered. So what I had to do is connect my video cable with the little converter box to VGA to this. They're both passive. To this, powered to the HDMI to USB-C, and I got a beautiful clear picture on the monitors. I took a picture of that, so let me put that here. So you can see on the picture, you have the cable, and then in the background you can kind of see what the picture looks like. But it was really crystal clear, so that the lighting's kind of bad in this picture. But yeah, so that's why I bought this VGA to HDMI recently. So this is the newest one. I think I got the AV to HDMI on FreeCycle with a TV pickup. Somebody probably had somebody. Well, it must have been one of these. was it that they wanted HDMI? No, I think they had a TV with HDMI, but they wanted AV, and the TV was too new to have AV, so it had HDMI. I think it was that, or vice versa. Yeah, I'm confused now. And I might have gotten, I think it was this one, because I think I got the HDMI to AV for my older iMac, the one that it was a few years old. It was the iMac 2009 that had a Core 2 Duo versus a i7 core, iCore 7. I don't know the Intel architecture names. I'll put them in the comments. But and I needed just like this one, I decided to do VGA to AV. For that one, I just had when I got that, it came with an HDMI Fire, not a mini DisplayPort, but a regular size DisplayPort to HDMI. So I couldn't use that DisplayPort on my new iMac. So I had this one, yeah. So I think that's why I bought this one, and then this one must have come with a TV that I got off a free cycle that was AV to HDMI. In any case, I have them all. So literally, the one thing I actually like is besides this one, I can actually go VGA to AV, AV to VGA, and I can go HDMI to AV. And why would I want to do that? Well, because I have these things too. Old school X10, send and receive RCA, composite. And so these are great. And so I can actually transmit a VGA signal across some distance, or even an HDMI signal. Now, obviously, I lose a lot of, especially here, the picture gets really bad, but in a pinch, I can do that. And so that's why, I like having these. Again, the first time this year I hooked my Macintosh to the new projectors, I actually had to go, VGA to HDMI, VGA to AV, AV to HDMI. And then it washed the picture out. And then, a day later, a week later, I bought this one when I had to hook I was just demoing something to folks to show them an old 1991 laptop, and I hooked this up the next time, and it looked so much better. So because I got the AV to VGA recently, right? This is the newest one I got from AliExpress. In the past, I had actually tried hooking up AV to HDMI on my QL to see if I could get a decent monitor signal. And you'll see when I show you, it looks awful. And I also have this thing that I bought. And I originally bought it to go from SCART to HDMI because the QL has, I created a SCART connector for it because it's from Europe. And I thought, because I can get RGB, so get a really beautiful signal. Well, it turns out these SCART to HDMI converters are really nothing more than a composite. They don't do anything else if you open up the wiring. It's literally, this is a sort of an add-on that I bought for like $1. And that's all it gives you is composite, because SCART has both composite and higher video signals. And so this is really just a composite HDMI. There's no RGB to HDMI conversion. And you'll see it because I'm going to show you what it looks like with both this one and this one. These are kind of the same. And they all use a 5-volt input with a little connector. I have, they come with these connectors. So and they come in these boxes. I got a ton of these boxes. I have one more converter that I bought at one point because I had a TV, an older TV that was pretty decent, pretty big, that didn't have an HDMI, but it had component. And so I bought this thing, which is let me get this off camera. This is a HDMI to component, so I even can go HDMI to component if I need to. So this was another one of these converter boxes, not made by Mini, so kind of more on the lines of this one. These are made by different manufacturers. I'm not going to show this one today, but so what I wanted to show you is what I wanted to try. The newest one that I got, the two newest ones I got, is the VGA to HDMI, which is this guy. I'm not going to show this one today. But I also got before that came the AV-to-VGA. So I got this, took my Amiga up to a monitor. But I wanted to try that on the QL to see if I could get a, because even though this doesn't do, so the the VGA to AV ones and the HDMI to AV ones actually have a switch on the bottom here, and it basically says PAL or NTSC, so it'll give you either signal. And I assume it just talks about how big the picture is. Or how many lines the picture it shows, because when you switch them, it doesn't actually impact the signal. It doesn't go from, I haven't seen it really impact the putting it on this TV. Yeah, so let me show you first, and this is the reason I have the camera actually, if you notice, I have it at a different angle because I need to work today on this side. What I want to do is I'm going to, so I have the HDMI hookup, and I'm going to hook my QL up to HDMI. So I have it kind of all set up. So let me quickly show that. So I need to unplug the QL because I don't want to do anything with the QL plugged in. I'm going to take the AV. I'm going to plug that to AV to HDMI. Luckily they have them marked here because they all look the same. And then the HDMI is going to be plugged into here. And then you just need to power it, and I do have a power. It's a USB. And that goes in here. And it just has on the side a 780 or a 720 or a 1080p. And I'll leave it at 1080p. Now I'm going to select HDMI. And this is powered, so it should recognize that. It does. And now I'm just going to power it up. And you'll see what it looks like. It's going to come up here in a second. I do have HDMI plugged in. This is in. That's input, that's output. Oh, I don't know why this isn't... Yeah, don't know. I had it. It might be the cable. Let's try a different cable. I have a better one. But we saw it, well, we didn't see the signal actually ever. Is this is on. So it could just be the cable here. Oh, here we go. Yep, there it is. All right, one more time. Then you boot up. So I don't think it was getting power. But basically what you get is this really, yeah, it's just over contrasted and there's no way to adjust it. So if I do F2, it gives you that, which isn't as bad. And if you do F1, it's going to come back as a full picture screen. But yeah, that's really awful. So I don't know what's going on there. And it's not just, so let me do this. Again, I'm going to unplug the Q up. So if you're like, oh, maybe this is broken. Well, or maybe it's just this particular unit. If I take this off, take that off. Again, this is the same thing, HDMI to AV to HDMI. You just have to plug this into the, I guess I should undo the wire here. So that's powered. It's a little better. Apologies for this wire being in the way. Yep, so that's 1080. Okay, so that's 1080p. And you'll see it says AV-NTSC. That's better, right? That's actually okay. It's actually, I mean, it's not as good as the AV picture. All the lettering is actually perfect. But when we go to monitor mode, the same problem as the, well, as the TV almost. It goes into this weird black and white mode, and there's no way to, I mean, I can try to reboot that. It's going to, yep, actually, so it actually mimics the other one. It just seems to phase out, and that's what causes the color, but, so it's very much like the other one. So, long story short, it doesn't work. All right. So, along comes this new doohickey. I haven't tried it yet. But will I do better with VGA? I put this off to the side. So I have the AV-to-VGA. And so again, back to this. Now I can use my, again, this is the, I've got all the connectors hooked up. And I can put the composite here, and then again, use the better of the two cables, I guess. Plug her in. I need to change the signal here now to VGA. Okay, let's see. It gets okay. It has the VGA signal 12, so that's 720. I cannot. 1920 by 1080. Well, I've tried it for the other ones. Usually, it doesn't make a difference, but yeah, let's see what it does here. All right, well, that's not a bad looking picture. Well, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I think there's more, so you can see there's a green shadow around the green. So it's a little bit more shifted than just a straight composite. It's not a bad picture. I will say that the lettering, 1961 January, is just fuzzy. Everything's fuzzier. And the other thing is, the blue is fine. That looks pink instead of red, so we do lose the nice red color there. But let's try monitor mode. Okay. Oh, yeah, that works. I mean, again, same issue is that, and there's like, I don't know if you can see this or not. There is a, there's like dancing lines over here. Other than that, it's actually not a bad picture. So, one thing I should try is that, you know, the reason I got this is I wanted to hook this up to a monitor. Let me set this up. Instead of hooking it up to this TV/monitor, I actually have a nice Dell monitor. So let me come back and hook this up to a monitor to see if I get a better picture or not. All right, so I'm going to be back. Okay, I've got the Dell monitor connected. Now, this Dell monitor actually, it wasn't the one that originally wanted to hook the Amiga 600 to, but it also only has, it has VGA and DVI, I think, is it digital video in or whatever that stands for. And then a bunch of USB ports. So it does not have, it's nice though, because you can literally, ready? It actually slides up and down. So that's pretty cool. This is a pretty decent picture. If I do monitor mode, so first of all, it already does a better job. Yeah, so the letters aren't very crisp. It is a bigger screen than my smaller TV monitor that I usually use. But what I like is red. So that's a nice red. The composite artifact is still here, but let's see what it does in monitor mode, which is the more important part. It definitely, yeah, you don't get the high. I mean, it's not a bad picture. I mean, you still get this, you know, artifacts of where it's interference, and then this is very shimmery. But if I wanted to use it to play a game on, it's not the end of the world. Definitely the Samsung monitor. I'll put a link in my video here about the Samsung monitor that I did last year. I did a video on a Samsung monitor from the UK that had a SCART input, and that gave it much more crystal clear picture. But then again, it was going RGB to SCART. Now, if I create my Raspberry Pico to VGA converter, I'm going to get a perfect picture. So this is just a temporary, you know, want to play a game or something on my QL, I can use this monitor. Yeah, it kind of works. All right, I'm going to do one more thing and then I'm going to call it quits, so I'll come back. Okay, as my final shot, what I did is I have, I connected 5 of them together. So I'm using my, this is a Atari sort of, it's not an original Atari, but it's like a game joystick that has games in it. And it gives you composite out. So I have AV to HDMI, HDMI to AV, AV to VGA, I'm sorry, AV to VGA, VGA to HDMI, and HDMI to AV. So lots of conversions to get to that, just for the fun of it. Picture's actually not that bad. I mean, I guess it does the downscaling, but once you downscale, you're not going to lose any more. I do the QL one. Watch this. Unplug this. It may or may not work. Fingers crossed. Oh, there it is, yeah. And you get sort of a bright picture, just as before, because the HDMI is the thing that struggles. If you go like that, yeah, a very washed out picture. So for whatever reason, the QL signal is much worse off than and if I put it in monitor mode, I don't even get a picture. Oh, no, here I get the picture. And I get that usual crappy picture. And fun, I guess, but useless. So anyway, I'm going to end here. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.